Welcome to this custom-tailored deep dive.
Yeah.
Today we are looking at a comprehensive sociological and historical report all about Superman.
It's a really fantastic packet.
It really is. Our mission for you today is to uncover exactly how a 1938 comic book character transformed into a global myth, and really why his enduring legacy is actually the ultimate immigrant assimilation story.
Yeah, there is a lot to cover.
Okay, let's unpack this because right off the bat, the sources reveal a wild fact. Creators Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster originally pitched the Superman not as a hero.
But it's a bald, telepathic villain bent on world domination.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about.
What's fascinating here is how that initial idea evolved based on the creator's own lived experiences. I mean, Siegel and Shuster were the sons of Jewish immigrants who had fled violence in Eastern Europe.
And they created this character right in the middle of the Great Depression.
Exactly. Tragically, though, they sold the rights to this multi-billion-dollar icon for a mere $135.
Just $135.
Right. But we connect this to the bigger picture. Kal-El's story deeply echoes Jewish theology and folklore. Think of Moses, placed in a woven basket to escape destruction. That's mirrored perfectly by baby Kal-El being sent off in a high-tech spaceship.
I was actually amazed reading through these notes to see a direct connection drawn to the Golem of Prague. It's the concept of an indestructible protector sculpted from clay to defend a vulnerable, oppressed community.
Siegel and Schuster essentially crafted a protector of steel to smash corruption and fascism. Even the Kryptonian name Kal-El uses the suffix -el, which translates to God in Hebrew.
Wow.
It's a profound refugee narrative. He lands in America with absolutely nothing, anglicizes his name to Clark Kent to blend in, yet consciously uses his extraordinary alien heritage to enrich and protect his adopted home.
Seeing that immigrant assimilation fantasy laid out really sets the blueprint for everything that followed. Our sources note a 1940 copyright lawsuit actually legally defined what a superhero is for the courts.
Which was a dual identity, superhuman powers, and a pro-social mission.
Yeah. Even his look was revolutionary. Out of context, a guy flying around in tights sounds a little ridiculous.
Yeah, but
But the packet points out it wasn't meant for hiding in the shadows like a pulp detective. It was inspired by turn-of-the-century circus strongmen to project immense physical power.
despite projecting all of that immense power, early Superman narratives were incredibly grounded.
In the golden age of comics, back in the late 30s and 40s, early Superman wasn't fighting intergalactic gods. He was dangling corrupt slumlords from buildings to force them to face dilapidated housing.
Or trapping unsafe mine operators in their own tunnels.
Right. I always struggled with Superman because he feels almost too invincible to be interesting, but the sources actually push back on that critique, don't they?
They do, because that critique fundamentally misunderstands the character's narrative architecture. The true tension in a great Superman story isn't physical.
It's a moral.
It's moral. It's about what compromises he refuses to make. Take the Red Sun storyline as a specific example.
Yeah.
It asks, what if his rocket landed in the Soviet Union instead of Kansas? In that story, he tries to eliminate all human suffering through absolute global control. The tragedy is that doing so systematically eradicates human free will. It brilliantly uses his unlimited power to explore the delicate, dangerous balance between absolute security and fundamental liberty.
Fast forward to the 2025 James Gunn film, and our sources show a hugely polarized reaction. Our mission today is just to map out these arguments for you, so looking at it purely objectively. The cultural divide is fascinating. On one side, supporters view actor David Corenswet's portrayal as the new Man of Steel.
Often described as having a golden retriever earnestness.
Yes, as a triumphant, necessary rebellion against 21st century cynicism.
They see an aspirational figure proving that unyielding kindness requires immense strength. On the flip side of our source material, critics argue the film relies heavily on cringe humor and defensive irony.
They suggest that instead of defending tangible principles and showing actionable moral courage like that 1930s champion of the oppressed, this modern iteration suffers from a vague do-gooderism.
The critics seem to feel it relies on progressive platitudes rather than understanding complex geopolitical realities, which is a stark contrast to the very direct, action-oriented refugee narrative Siegel and Shuster originally wrote.
Synthesizing all of this, whether he's fighting slumlords in the 1930s or sparking modern cinematic debates, Superman's greatest asset has never been his physical invulnerability.
No, it has always been his deep, adopted humanity.
So what does this all mean? Well, we want to leave you with a final provocative thought to explore on your own. Since Superman's vital moral compass was originally forged by a quiet, Depression-era farming family.
What kind of moral code would an omnipotent alien develop if his rocket landed in today's hyperpolarized, algorithm-driven society?